Welcome, John Lewis, Entos Pharmaceutical. We're looking at next generation drug delivery systems, a revolutionary way of looking at and executing drug delivery for patients, and a multitude of other things that we've had discussions about off camera. Right. So let's go a little bit into where Entos came from and what it is you guys are doing.
Sure. Entos Pharmaceuticals it's an Alberta founded company. We were founded in 2016. We call ourselves a genetic medicines company. So we have a platform technology that allows us to take some of these amazing breakthroughs in things like gene editing or protein replacement and actually create medicines that are safe and effective for people.
Mm-hmm. So what are some of the applications and how far is this gene editing going? Because this stuff, like some of the stuff we've talked about, the phone calls we've had, super cool stuff, and like really getting at the base of where our genes start and making them adaptable to success. Yeah. Let's talk about where some of the applications are for this.
Absolutely. Yeah, we were talking about this. I mean, my background actually, I did a lot of computer programming when I was younger, and was really compelled by the fact that you can create your own reality through computer programming. Your body is very much like that. So I mean, the DNA encodes all of our programming, and through genetic medicines, we can actually write code and modify code that's running in our bodies. And think of the technology we've developed as basically an envelope or a USB key that we can store that program on and then insert it in the body to run it. And the possibilities are amazing. So now that we've sequenced the human genome, we basically know all of the code that your body runs. And so now, we're slowly understanding what it all means. And as we do that, we're understanding which genes are responsible for which diseases. And we have a pretty good idea of whether we want to maybe increase the amount of program is running or decrease the amount of program is running. And we have technology tools to be able to do that. So for instance, RNAi or RNA inhibition, we can basically take a gene and develop a drug that can specifically knock that gene out, get rid of its function, and potentially cure many different diseases. Cancer is a great one, that are run by these oncogenes that force the cancer to divide and spread. And if we use RNAi, for instance, to take the gene that's causing it, we can stop the cancer in its tracks. And then on the other side, we can create messages. We can create proteins through messenger RNA. So basically, giving instructions that produce proteins that are therapeutic. So in the case, there are many diseases where there's a key enzyme missing. These are often childhood, single gene diseases. And if we replace that gene using messenger RNA, delivered into the body, we can completely cure those diseases. And then, as you were saying, gene editing is sort of the next level, right?
Right.
So we have technology now where we can actually go in and precisely splice and move around genes, and often many of the diseases are caused by genes that are just maybe they have mutations, maybe they're just not organized properly, and we can actually precisely, now that we know exactly what the problem is, we have tools to be able to go and fix that problem very precisely.
Yeah, like the targeting is phenomenal on this kind of stuff. Talk a little bit, you and I have talked about some of the things that you guys are doing in regards to cancer. So where are some of the areas that you guys are exploring right now? And can you talk about some of the successes that you guys are having breakthroughs with?
Absolutely. So I would say my other day job is I'm a professor of oncology at the University of Alberta, and I'm the chair in prostate cancer research. Okay. So we've been very focused on prostate cancer, but really the challenges in prostate cancer are present in many cancers. So prostate cancer is most commonly diagnosed cancer in men, and genetically, we're understanding the genetics about it. There are very specific genes that are turned on in prostate cancer, but are also common to lung cancer, pancreatic cancer, colon cancer, for instance. And so using our technology, we saw an opportunity to target a very important, what we call an oncogene, or a gene that's mutated in cancer. It's called P53. Okay. You may have heard of P53. It's the most mutated gene in cancer.
Gotcha.
But it's called the guardian of the genome, because P53, when a cell gets damaged, say it gets mutated, say by the sun or by something you eat, P53 actually makes the decision. So these signals come down to P53. P53 makes the decision to repair that damage, or if the DNA damage is unrepairable, to say, okay, I'm going to commit suicide, die and let other cells take my place.
Gotcha.
So this is a very important pathway. So cancer obviously wants to get rid of this pathway to survive and thrive in your body. And so P53 is often mutated or deleted. And so, but the cell still wants to repair the damage. So your cells, that are cancerous are saying, turn on P53. So we can write a software program that actually reads that signal and says, okay, you want to turn on P53 that badly? Actually, you should just commit suicide. So we've connected that, respond to that signal to what's called a caspase, but it's a pro-death protein.
Yeah.
And these cells very rapidly, within 4 hours, basically just die. So
and again, it's targeted. So like if we're going after, say, prostate cancer,
Right.
we can literally say, this is where it's at. That's the gene. Go after it. Away we go. And it's non-invasive. And the way that you guys are developing, if I understand it correctly, is that because it's so biologically tuned to your body already, there's no rejection of this. Your body accepts it as a natural pathway. And then we talk about how going back to non-invasive, but we were talking about when you introduce certain drugs into the body, it all gets filtered through the liver and through your kidneys, and then you get the poisoning, or you can potentially get poisoning or degradation of those organs.
Sure.
But now through this, it's not a poison that you're putting through there that has to be filtered out. Can you talk a little bit on how that kind of evolution of things is really going to change how this whole
absolutely
area is being looked at?
It's a key part of our technology.
Yeah.
So you think about things like chemotherapy. These are small molecule drugs, and they go everywhere. And the problem is, chemotherapy is pretty indiscriminate, kills everything that divides, right?
Yeah.
So, your hair follicles, the lining of your stomach, so it can have really nasty side effects. It's not selective.
Yes.
Gene therapy, because we can exquisitely program it, we can make it as selective as we want. And these are the kinds of things we're developing. But to deliver gene therapies, we really only have two options. We have a viral option, so we can put it into an innocuous virus. But that's complicated because your body recognizes viruses and gets rid of them.
Right.
So you basically only give it once.
So you're fighting with the good stuff you're trying to
Exactly.
achieve.
So you give it one dose, and the body doesn't react, fast enough, and it'll work properly. But then you can't redose. You can't give them multiple doses. And most diseases require multiple doses. So the other option are nanoparticles. And in our case, lipid nanoparticles or fat nanoparticles. So in fat nanoparticles, obviously your body is made up of fats. Every cell in your body is 20% fat, and so generally they're well tolerated, except the kinds of lipid nanoparticles that can actually deliver genetic material are modified so they have a positive charge. It's really that simple. It's just a sort of electronic positive charge.
Yeah.
The problem with positive charge is that it pokes holes in membranes. And when you put nanoparticles into the body, as you said, your body tries to filter them out through the liver and the spleen, and so you get a lot of the dose going to the liver. And if you have all these positive charges accumulating in the liver, punching holes, it's not a good situation.
Yes.
So we get these, what we call off-target toxicities in the liver, and that's really been the Achilles heel of nanomedicines delivering gene therapy, are these issues with liver toxicity. Entos has dealt with that by basically taking all the positive charge out of our formulations. Instead, we use this amazing fusogenic protein that nature came up with itself the immune system doesn't respond to it. So that we can give these medicines as many times as we want. We can put a software program in it that even though it's going to the liver, it's not activated, so it really has no effect. But enough of it gets in the cancer that we can turn on that program in the cancer and have an effect.
The magnitude of this kind of technology and this future of health is endless. Like the mind's, the imagination's as far as you can go with this. So this stuff is fantastic. Let's talk about Alberta. You're here in Alberta,
right.
Alberta born and bred, away we go. What has been the advantage of being here in this province? What are some of the strengths that we've had to help support such a phenomenal piece?
Yeah. No, I moved from Ontario to Alberta in 2012 to take up this chair in prostate cancer research. It's funny because, and this program does a great job of talking about what Alberta is doing. I actually didn't realize all the amazing things that were going on here before I came. But after I came, it's incredible. We've been able to do things here we couldn't do anywhere else.
Yeah.
Alberta has incredible research and health infrastructure. The Cross Cancer Institute, for instance, does the highest per capita oncology clinical trials than anywhere in Canada. So we have this amazing health infrastructure where we're developing new technologies and new insight on diseases, more than many other universities in the world. And we have, in the province as well, we have 4 million people under a single healthcare system, single payer. So that allows us to leverage, so the big thing in science obviously is data.
Yes.
And so we can leverage the data across 4 million people, whereas, for instance, in maybe other provinces or large areas or large institutions in the United States, the institutions are basically silos.
Yeah.
So they're excellent in and of themselves, but they don't do a great job of collaborating or working with other centers.
It's not a big picture.
Right. So in Alberta, we've been able to integrate all of the data and information and resources from 4 million people to really push technologies forward.
Yeah.
And this is also facilitated by an environment that has wonderfully trained people. So we can people doing their PhDs or just finishing their PhDs, really highly trained. We have an excellent the University of Alberta, University of Calgary, and the other educational institutions. Just excellent quality of individuals coming into the company. We have a supportive environment. Organizations such as Health City and Edmonton have been, extremely supportive. Getting the thing is in Alberta, like I said, we like to do things ourselves. I think, and I've really noticed that. I guess the good side of that is that the community here is amazing. Right, so
They
we
get
have
behind
everybody's supportive.
Yeah.
Everybody supports the fact you want to do something that's difficult, and it's going to require effort and getting through barriers. But people here have done it and they understand it and they're supportive of it. So we've really benefited from that as well. And Health City is as a good example of now taking packaging that message up and delivering it to the world.
Right.
Because we're doing great things here in Edmonton. We're creating life-changing science and we're bringing it to the clinic for the benefit of patients. And it's important that other people know about that.
Understanding a cultural shift, like that we have to start adopting these new kinds of revolutionary technologies, revolutionary methods, because if they're not adopted, we're going to fall off the wagon here. So we got to get on board with the future.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Spraying that kind of message and having people understand that organizations like yours out there exist and they're working to make a difference, like you guys are. I mean, I say working, but you guys have done it. You guys have had passed through clinical trials that are going really well. Things are happening, and we're just kind of on the cuff of the next future, like the future.
Absolutely.
Which is super cool.
Yeah.
So what's the next step? What's the next page in Entos Pharmaceuticals? Where do you guys need to go next, and what do you need to get there?
Absolutely. So Entos has this novel genetic medicine platform. With our passion in oncology and a personal connection to oncology as well, we're really motivated as a team to make an impact. So our goal is to do a phase 1 clinical trial of our oncology gene therapy, starting right here in Edmonton. So we're going to be performing that. So we have the oncologist at the Cross Cancer Institute is going to be investigating the trial. We've designed the trial. We've already we're going to meet with Health Canada in June to chat about the design of the trial. We're really excited about doing that here. I think it's really important because it's technology developed here. The benefit will be seen in Alberta first, but then we'll share it with the world.
Yeah, fantastic. And how about? We've talked a lot of organizations when it comes to international markets now and expanding out into there. Again, coming from Alberta, moving out into the world. What are some of the things that are happening there and can happen there to help you guys grow?
Absolutely. Well, what we're working on it's not an Alberta-specific technology.
Okay, yeah.
Which developed here, but really we're working with an international group of partners to develop a wide variety of different medicines. So we're really passionate about oncology. We're working with other companies to develop new medicines for inflammatory diseases, for age-related diseases, things like arthritis and atherosclerosis, and for genetic diseases as well. One really, pressing and important topic is the coronavirus.
Yes.
So there's an opportunity to utilize our technology to develop new vaccines, and so we're really motivated as a team to work on that. So we should be. So we have an active project working on coronavirus. Our technology is really suited to be able to potentially develop a vaccine or a therapy that has pan-coronavirus activity, which means that not only should it be effective for COVID-19, but also SARS, MERS, and ideally whatever else comes next.
next. And so we're really excited about taking that forward into
Is that kind of like an
clinical trials.
all-in-one then, like a vaccine that would deliver and help with those, help eliminate those specifics all in one shot?
Absolutely. So we have an opportunity. So our technology is ideally suited to creating something that would be effective for all coronavirus.
Wow.
And we do that because our payload, our genetic package, we can make it larger than most of the other technologies on the market. And I think we can use this to make something really beneficial.
And because it's targeted, it's 10 times more effective. Cost efficiency obviously follows suit.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic. John, thank you so much for coming on and sharing this information with us. This has been super cool. Like I love that we're looking at the foundation where it all begins, and we're just working off of that to create the solutions. And you guys are right at the heart of that. So
Well, really, really pleasure to chat with you.
Absolutely.
And we're excited about next steps.
super. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks.
Great.
Ooh, that's cold.